All right, let's talk about one of the reasons, and I think this is a big reason, that couples fail financially. And this is, I think, one of the most important chapters in my book, The Financial Physician, How to Cure Your Money Problems and Boost Your Financial Health. And it was published in 2010, but it's still very, very pertinent today. And you can get a copy free on the website. You can get a beautiful PDF downloaded and read the book for free. And Chapter 6 of The Financial Physician says one of the reasons that we fail financially is lack of spousal teamwork. And this is a biggie. When only one spouse manages the family finances, very serious problems can arise. The person managing the finances, maybe they make poor decisions. Maybe they make decisions that their partner or spouse would disagree with, or may not be in a relationship's best interest. The other partner may feel looked down upon or left out. The person not managing the money, they may not be aware of the limits that they must follow, and they may spend more money than they really should be. So it's very important for you both to be involved with the finances, and I've stressed this many times in this program, and I do it in my practice. I hate it when somebody comes for a first appointment with me and they don't bring their spouse with them. I go, "You married?" And they said, "Yeah." I go, "Well, where's your wife?" "Oh, she's not involved in money management. This stuff bores her. She doesn't deal with the money. I take care of that." And that drives me nuts. It gets me angry. And I tell the person sitting there, I said, "This is wrong." I said, "You really should have your wife involved for many reasons." It's amazing how in many families, spousal teamwork is the norm on many issues. But when it comes to finances, one of them run it. Now, we're starting to see improvement in this. Years ago, when I first started in the business, it was always the man who managed the money. The wife managed the household. And that's the way it was and always was. I have widows who never wrote a check. The husband did everything. And there's the reason, there's the number one reason, or one of the top reasons why your spouse should be involved, because you're not always going to be there. If you don't include your spouse in the managing of the money, the finance, the investments, when you die, they're thrown right into it without any training. I say in my book, I use the quote, "Both you and your honey should manage the money." And now we've seen domestic relationships change over the last couple of decades, where both spouses are money makers. They both go to work. So we're seeing more financial teamwork because the spouse, in this case, say the wife, now has skin in the game. I work too. My money's part of our finances. Yes, I want to be involved in the decision making. But still, in most families, one spouse runs the show. Now, we're starting to see women now to be, in many cases, the number one manager of money in the family. That's equally as dangerous. If you don't keep your husband involved, what's going to happen if you go? It works the same way. Both of you should be involved. Now, one could drive the car, but you need to be a passenger in that car and see where you're going. And many couples don't talk about money unless the roof is falling in. They live day to day without even looking at a strategy, without any concrete financial plans. But I've seen in my practice over the years, widows with zero, haven't paid any bills, and have no idea how investments work, no idea what's in the portfolio. I have women who had no idea the family had so much money. because they never looked at the statements. They've never had the conversation. All they knew is that there was food on the table, there was a roof over their head, and that's all they really cared about. But now we're starting to see women become the number one manager of finance in the family. And that's a good thing. Why is it a good thing? Women are better money managers and better on finances than men are. Now, that's not true in all cases, but I'm saying we're seeing that. Where I see households that are run by the wife, and you know how you see it, when a new client comes to meet with me, our first appointment, this is our information gathering appointment. When you see a financial advisor, certified financial planner like myself, the first appointment, my job as a planner is to learn as much as I can about my clients, both financially and psychologically. I got to figure out who's running the show here. What is the risk tolerance for each spouse? And I'm very good at my radar is really good after 40 years of doing this. Within 5-10 minutes, I know exactly what's going on in this family. But you can tell right away by which spouse is carrying the documents that they have to bring. When a potential new client calls up, say, I want to come in for a consultation with Lou, my assistant Evelyn sends them a list of everything they should bring. Their most recent tax returns, statements from their investments and savings, etc. Their wills, any trust they have. I want to see it all. So when I look and I come into the conference room and see where the paperwork is, who's it in front of, it tells me immediately who drives the car, the financial car in this family. And I would say now, more than 50%, it's in front of the woman, the wife. Now, I remember years ago in my own family, my dad, when I was a kid, when I was younger, he paid all the bills. And he gave my mother, her allowance for the week for food, groceries, and stuff. And he would pay the bills. And it got to the point, now I don't come from money. We were really tight. And my dad was stressed a lot about it, about our finances. So they made an agreement, my parents, that my mother would now pay the bills. And my dad would get his allowance for the week. And I thought that was an interesting change. But it was a good change because my mother was very judicious in making sure everything was paid. And my dad loved it because all the stress of paying the bills was now on her. He didn't have to worry about anything anymore. And another thing we do in the first appointment, I want to find out if the husband and the wife have different risk tolerances. The wife's very conservative and doesn't get involved in managing the money, but the husband's aggressive. Well, that's not going to work. So what do you do? How do you become more involved? Well, the first thing you could do is have a monthly meeting. When the kids are in bed, it's quiet, you turn off your cell phones, you turn off the TV, you sit on the kitchen table, and you pay the bills together. How many couples do that? None. Or few. You could discuss each bill. Hey, honey, the electric bill's really high now. We got to cut back. We got to make sure that the lights are off. We don't leave them on in other rooms. Boy, that natural gas bill's going up. Maybe we should put the thermostat down from 72 down to 69. Wear a sweater. You see how discussing bills together, now we're both in it together. We both got skin in the game. We both need to be accountable. Examine how you can cut your grocery bill. All right, honey, grocery prices we have inflation here. What can we do without? Do we really need to have this expensive whatever? You want to go over your investments. How's the 401k doing? Are we on our track to have as much money as we want in retirement? Should we be socking more away? Do we really need to? Our car loan is over. Can we keep the car for a few more years and sock away that $500 a month? So by sitting down once a month and reviewing every bill, reviewing your savings, reviewing your investments, now you're a team. And when goals are set together, when we set goals together, the chances of achieving those goals are going to increase. And that's called teamwork. And when you have a team, one can correct the other and say, hey, look, I've been going over our credit card bills, honey. We're spending way too much. We're spending way too much on clothing and this and that. We're going out to eat too much. We need to adjust our behavior. And the most important thing about this is when we leave this earth, we don't want to leave our spouses in a position where they're bound to fail financially. Now, I mentioned last week about different psychological profiles and whatnot, and I mentioned a very dangerous one is the abdicator, one who doesn't take any responsibility for their own money. They need other people to tell them what to do. And this is typically a widow. Very dangerous. These people are can be taken advantage of very easily. So, and this is especially true. If you're older now and your health is starting to deteriorate, and you know that you handle the finances in the family, you're obligated to train your spouse and teach them, hey, where all the money is, how to pay the bills, what the bills are, what the debt is, what's life going to be like financially when I'm gone. What are we going to lose? We're going to lose my pension. You're going to lose my Social Security. And it's very important to do this. And I got to tell you, I'm guilty as charged. My family. My wife doesn't want to know about it. Here I am, a certified financial planner. I have a book, and it says The Importance of Spousal Teamwork. And I don't think my wife knows anywhere close to what her net worth is, what the bills are every month. She knows that, hey, the debit card works every time I go in the store. That's the most important thing. If it didn't, she'd be on the phone with me, that's for sure. And we'd be talking about spousal teamwork at that point. She cares that it works, and I'm not belittling her, but she just doesn't want to be involved. She says, hey, you're a certified financial planner. You're the accountant. I'm not. But now I'm trying to get her more involved. I'm getting older. I may be gone tomorrow. And she'll be left with a big mess. So I'm going to do my best in my family to try to get her more involved. So this week, honey, we're going to sit down and we're going to go over some things.